Live yet?
All right, we're live.
Hey, Patriots, what's going on?
Turn my sound down before I get yelled at.
Yeah, turn yourself down.
There we go.
Let me fix this camera a little bit. There we go. What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
Nice. Send a message out to them, see who's on there.
Yeah, who's
Let
on
us
the
know
live
who's on with us.
Matt will return momentarily. Hope the audio and video is good. Get in, Matt.
Yeah, man. What's up, homies?
Max. Hey, Max.
What's up, dude?
Got John Patton in the house. Look at that. Crazy John Patton.
Do I know John Patton?
Matt's brother.
Oh, that John.
Yeah.
What's up, dude?
Sasquatching up the hill after his beer. 3 steps up a 25-foot bank.
We need to do that again.
Hammer
We
drums.
need to do another Patriot camp out for sure. Which I might be going to get something.
Something?
We'll talk
Okay, we
about
got
that.
something else to talk about after
Talk
we're
about
we're off tonight. So we got Scott
Well,
Wexler in the house.
So tonight, guys, we're going to be
Maxes.
talking about. Matt chose the topic of. We're going to talk. I call them preparedness bags because there's several different layers and levels to that. If you have questions for that, hold those thoughts. We're going to get back into it in just a few minutes. We'll let a few more people get on here so we can kind of get going on it. Did you say that one person in specific?
Yeah, Darren Allen.
So make sure you get his ass on here.
I sent him the link and he sent me a thumbs up.
Darren Allen?
Brandon Davis in the
There's
house. What's up,
Brandon.
buddy?
Hey,
If
Brandon.
you guys have questions about preparedness bags, we'll talk that tonight. That's going to be the topic of
See, I
conversation.
told you Patrick was the missing sauce, man.
Yep.
What
We
do you
got
mean?
more people on here than we had all
Yeah.
last week, man.
So, what's
There's
up?
Darren Allen.
What's up,
All right.
Darren? All right, man.
Start talking preparedness bags before Darren's old ass falls asleep on us. Right
So Matt said that Darren had some questions about preparedness bags. That is typically one of the classes that I teach. So if you have questions about that, please pop them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. There's several layers of preparedness bags. We talked about that already briefly, but I would say that you'll hear a lot of terminology when you get into the preparedness world on the internet, where you're starting to search out like what needs to be in a get home bag, a bug out bag, an inch bag, INCH, I'm never coming home. There's lots and lots of levels to it. I do teach a class on this on what I think is appropriate. I think for most people, it's probably smarter to have a get home bag than anything else. And it can be doubled or kind of expanded upon to make it more of a bug out bag, that kind of thing as well. It is important, I think, that everyone that is in your family have their own. I think that's a good idea, especially, and it's real easy to do if you have multiple vehicles and stuff like that. Like if you have a family vehicle, let's have that one packed with a family bug out bag or get home bag. If you got like your personal vehicle you drive every day, you can put your get home bag in that. I personally have some different things that I do because I travel for my job. So my get home bag is relatively huge and could be considered more of a bug out bag because it could go both directions.
And it's
But it's dependent.
a good example of that is the bag you have in your vehicle has different stuff in it than the bag I have
Absolutely.
in my vehicle.
And it's very much independent
there's
for our
some
needs.
overlap, but it's based on what it's for. Like for me, my bag in my truck is wherever I am is to get me home.
Yep, and that's what most people need. I think that's a bare minimum of what everybody should have.
Yeah.
And then if there's questions you guys that are having that are specific for each one of those things, we can talk about it. But just to kind of give you an idea of what I think is important for a get home bag, if you don't wear appropriate footwear every day, that should be a no-brainer. Like you should have a pair of tennis shoes or a pair of boots or something that you can walk from your house home. And I mean walk, not like get in your car, drive, and walk a mile home. I'm talking about like if you had to get in, if you had to get your bag and make it home from work without your car, without your vehicle, could you do it? And what things would you have in the bag to help you along the way? Most people, I think, get way too heavy and way too complicated in a get home bag. It doesn't have to be super complicated to be effective. Now, everybody's needs are different, right? Like if you live 10 miles from your house, your get home bag should be simple. It should weigh less than 5 pounds. It'd be mostly food, snacks, and water, and maybe a good pair of shoes and some blister kit or something. You know, if you had to walk 5 miles and not good shoes, an extra pair of socks or something, and a blister kit, good to go.
Well, I know we were talking, because one of the things I have in my bag is, you know, especially this time of year, is a pair of pants.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for
Because
sure.
I always wear shorts, but if I get in a situation where I have to be multiple hours out in the weather.
You don't even own pants.
I
He
do have
does.
a pair
One
in my
pair.
bag.
And he
They're
kind
in
of
my
transfers
bag.
I thought they were dress pants. There's a picture of you going to somebody's wedding a couple years ago.
That was a rented tux, man.
Oh.
So the thing I would say about bug out bags is they're going to be very individualized per person, per your goals and objectives for the mission, right? But that being said, there's some universal things that should be in all bug out bags or all get home bags. When I say bug out bag, understand I mean get home bag most of the time. But that's kind of in the community. Bob is, bug out bag is kind of what everybody calls them. So that's kind of the universal term. Now, again, the definition changes. If it's a I'm never coming home bag, now we're going to be really heavy on tools that we're going to be making stuff, right? Because we're never coming back to this place. You're basically a refugee. And I think that's a glamorous, almost artificial scenario that will never exist in most cases. Because when you leave in that scenario, in that mindset, you're basically a refugee, and you're not going to get as far or do as much as you think. You're probably going to starve to death and die. That's just the ultimate reality of it. I think you better have a very realistic expectation of what that bag is supposed to do and what its job is. Yeah. But also, you hit on something that's important. It very much changes based on season too, right? So my bag never really changes. What I do is I have the things in the car that I would need that are not in the bag. For instance, I have an extra pair of boots, an extra pair of socks, and a giant, winter coat. Now, we don't get that cold down here. A ski coat is plenty. You don't have to have anything super crazy down here. But I keep those things in my truck constantly. I mean, once it becomes to that kind of weather, every season change, I change it up and I throw what I might need for that season.
Definitely want something to build fire with, some types of foods that
but there
will
again,
sustain you.
but
how
see,
much do you need?
But see, there again, I'm not building a fire on a get home bag. I'm trying to get from A to B as fast as I can. I want to stay warm with the least amount of calories and effort expended as possible. Right. So
dry socks is huge for me.
Like good coat, good stuff, and a way to sleep on the dirt that night to get through the night is plenty. I'm not trying to build fires and do anything crazy in just a get home bag. Right. It's not a bad thing to have those things. I'm not telling you not to have them, but realize that those are extras that are not necessarily the bare minimum that I'd have to have.
Speaking of seasons, Max says he just did the winter switchover for his bag about 2 months ago.
Yep.
Brandon says, I just have food, emergency shelter, fire starters, water filter, and spare mags.
That's pretty good. Now, see, I consider the mags something totally different. Because you should be carrying spare mags and stuff on your body, obviously. But other than that, we have a different setup that I call the hate sack, which I will say I got affectionately from Jay.
Jay Gibson.
That would be a whole different bag that has what I need to go do the thing, right? So I got the hate sack with extra mags and extra, flares and stuff like that to start fires. That's a different bag for me. I'd probably take both if I'm in that scenario, but I don't pack them in the same bag. I keep them separate.
Andrew says, I want a PVS 14 and a silenced pistol in mine.
That would be awesome.
Wexler just said he bought a bag from bugoutbags.com. It said one size fits all.
One size fits all.
Yeah, that was a great deal. You got what you paid for.
Going back to bugging out, Max said anyone that has a fantasy of bugging out, especially with kids, if it were to happen, will more than likely wind up dead on the road.
Yeah, for sure.
Trying to be a country boy.
Especially if you take a vehicle out of the scenario. Now, like there's a big difference between bugging out of an area. Say like you got a mass fire in the area and you're bugging out to go somewhere else, and you still got use of your vehicle. Now you're talking. Like That's a bug out vehicle. Now we got a whole different scenario where I'm packing my bug out bag in my vehicle
And your
along
hate
with tents,
sacks
and
hate
your
sacks,
tools.
rifles, food,
Exactly.
tools, everything's in the vehicle.
Let's
that I can go.
package for the folks that are watching this, like specifically watching it back to learn something. Let's package the get home bag. Like I know you went through it one more time, but just to kind of summarize the get home bag.
What do I think is the bare minimum? So I'm going off my head, and I have notes and all this in my class that make it a lot easier. I didn't bring all that stuff because this was kind of impromptu. But the things that I would consider an absolute have to: food, some way to purify water and contain water. And you'll find in a lot of the survival communities, they can do without a lot of stuff. Knowledge is power. And one of the things that is the absolute wow, something to contain water or to boil water to purify it. Never leave without that. I would always have a way to boil and a solid container to put it in. So a stainless steel container of some sort. Excuse me. Fire starters are okay, not necessarily a have to. I carry those things in my regular everyday bug out, or not bug out, but
On
EDC.
your person.
Like I got multiple ways to start a fire on my person all the time. So I don't put that in the bag because it's not that important. I might have duplicates in my bigger bag because again, I'm thinking it's going to take me a lot longer. So I can't get into my personal stuff. But like if you're looking for a very minimum, what you need to walk home, however far home is, be realistic. Most people can cover with a pack about 10 miles to 15 miles a day. That's it. So if you're 30 miles from home, you need the materials in that bag to do 2 days. I need food, I need water, I need the things that are personal protective equipment, gloves, things to keep my body warm. I need to be able to make some kind of impromptu shelter. Now, I'm not mean carrying a tent for most people or a hammock or any of that stuff. I'm thinking like a poncho or maybe a tarp, a lightweight, heavy-duty tarp that will do the job well. So you got a way to keep yourself from freezing to death. You have a way to eat and stay hydrated along the way and refuel.
Take a lot of calories.
It's going to take a lot of calories and a lot of water. Water is the hardest thing to carry, so you better have some kind of Sawyer, meaning some kind of filtration system so you can hydrate. And then that's going to be, again, this is why I say it's so hard to say specifically what every person needs everywhere. Because in North Carolina, we can't spit without hitting a bottle of water. You know what I mean? Like there's water everywhere. Whereas if you were in Arizona desert,
right,
that's a whole different ballgame. I would be super heavy on the water, and I'd have a lot less clothing and stuff. Now, it does get cold out there at night, so you have to be a little bit clothing and stuff, but it'd be a lot less than what we have here in the winter. Our winters are still pretty mild, though, so I wouldn't say it's too crazy. But it really is very much dependent on your environment, your location, and your get-home scenario.
And Andrew makes a good little addition, a red light.
So red lights are awesome, especially for not burning out night vision and for being able to stay incognito. But again, is that a have to? It's a good thing. I'm not telling you not to, but I'm talking about if you're to go bare bones as the bare minimum I have to have. I need some kind of shelter. I need food enough to walk that distance. Mm-hmm. I need water to walk that distance. But again, that changes drastically.
And like you said, appropriate footwear, spare socks, and some kind of blister kit because you will probably
salve and
especially if your shit gets wet. I mean, because to think that your feet are going to stay dry, you're not going to cross a creek or something like that.
Well, everybody assumes they're going to walk the road home, and that's probably inaccurate. If you can't drive home, you probably can't walk the road home either. If it's to that point, you're probably going to be doing through the woods walking, trying to stay away from people, trying to not take the path that's not so least resistive, and you're going to be kind of going off the beaten path a little bit. Other things that I think are hugely important and often overlooked: map and compass. A way to get home that you don't depend on your GPS and your other stuff. You better know those routes ahead of time, how you plan to do it. Like we know in this area that railroad tracks run a good ways and end up in most towns that we want to go to. So those are okay, but if we thought of that, so has everybody else. So I'd just be aware that people are looking and doing the same things that you're thinking that you're going to do. So always be ready to adapt. Have a physical paper map of the area that you plan to get home from. Now, if you're 10 minutes from home and you know this area like the back of your hand, maybe that's not so important. But again, for me, I travel for my job. I could be up to or more 100 miles away from my house. I know realistically a 100-mile trip on foot with as much stuff as I'm going to have to carry, and not ideal conditions could take me 20 days or more to get home. My get home bag is much different than everyone else's.
And you gotta know, like in that you're a good distance from home. You want to know those landmarks. In addition
Where
to
can I get water?
the map,
Yeah.
you know what landmarks can you use to help guide you.
Also, it doesn't ever hurt if you're like me and you have a lot of distance to travel between where you work and where you may be going. It would not be unwise to maybe cache some items at somewhere it's on the way. You know, if you're 200 miles from home on your trip on the normal or more, then maybe if you do this path all the time, maybe we go find somebody we know, somewhere we can go put stuff and have some cached items in those areas to get you home.
Max put on there, touching on our preparedness challenge, the ability to walk home.
Yeah, most people overlook the physical part of preparedness. To me, you're as you know, Pat Mack would call it, your combat chassis is the most important thing that you got. It doesn't matter how good we are on any of this. If
Basic
we can't
dude
walk
stuff.
Yeah, basic
Dude stuff.
if you can't walk home with a pack, and then most people overpack the shit out of a pack. You know, and I'm guilty. I have a 60-liter pack. It's heavy. It's not light, but I also know I have to live out of this thing. If I had to walk home from where I work at,
Right.
it's going to be a trip. You know, like I said, 20 days, you better have food.
But there won't be any shortage of meth houses and stuff. You can pilfer to get supplies.
For me personally, I also have people along the way. It's not like I'm
Yeah.
going the whole distance without any place to stop, but I would want to know I could. I'd rather have that little extra food. And I'll be honest, like the majority of the weight in my pack comes from food. Food. I have lots of it.
And you gotta think food that's going to sustain you too. You don't want a bunch of junk that you're gonna just carb up and be hungry.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you want to have a good mix. You need the carbs.
Yeah, but
so if you're looking to do a bug out bag, here's the best advice I can give you, and it answers Darren's question. He asked, "What kind of bag are you carrying all this stuff in?" If you want to know what's the best stuff to carry stuff a long distance, and the most covert, look into the backpacking world. It's the best. They already do this. They already figured this stuff out a long time ago by hiking that 10, 20 miles into the woods and staying in the woods. So my suggestion, Darren, is to look into backpacks. I don't like anything that looks military. I want to be very low key, very gray man if I can be. My pack is a Outdoors Vitals pack, 60 liter, which is too big. For most of y'all, a 30, 40 liter pack should be way more than you need.
Hey Max, it looks like you could probably use your band hammer, your wrench on whoever Potts Schaefer is. It looks like a shady link or something like that. I don't know.
Yep.
It doesn't seem to fit. So exercise your right to ban some or kick them out. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to mess up the flow.
Messed up my flow, man. So what I was saying, Darren, look into backpacks. If you're looking for brands, I like Outdoor Vitals for their value. They make lightweight gear it's very high quality for a good price. If you want the best of the best, Osprey's got a good following. There's lots of brands that are really, really great. Doesn't matter. What I would say is the really most important thing that you should be looking for in your bag is that it is weatherproof and as lightweight as possible. And it needs to have a lap belt, or it needs to have the waist belt on it, because you don't want to carry any kind of load any distance without that. I promise you'll regret it. Now that being said, if you are thinking in a different manner, let's just say that you carry a plate carrier and a rifle and you're planning on that's how you're going to bug out to get home, then maybe you have the pack on the back of your plate carrier and you're very limited in what you can carry. If I'm in that scenario, I'm ditching a lot of creature comforts. That whole pack is going to be filled full of what I need to eat and fuel me and keep me dry. There's going to be a lot less luxuries, and I'm also not carrying anything that I don't need at like a maximum potential need.
And that's something we actually started this weekend. Was we're wearing our gear the whole class whenever we're teaching anything long gun. Because it does make a difference.
Yep. You start to find out what works and what doesn't. And then also having a lot of the stuff on your pack helps, because when we have that plate carrier, we're going to have a lot of the things that you would carry in a get-home bag maybe as a luxury, like your comms unit, your ham radio, stuff like that. You're already going to have med kits and stuff in that, so you can back off some of that stuff on the inside the bag.
Might need a different med kit.
Might need to change your med kit if you got one that's gargantuan.
That was
one
too
like
big.
series. But I will say mine's as small as you can possibly make it, and it's tight. Like it's as much as I can fit in my med kit.
I'm still waiting on that other one to come.
And that's also me keeping a couple of tourniquets outside the med kit, so that's an option as well. But that being said, like it really is depending on what your personal plan is. If I was rocking a plate carrier with a backpack on the back, like we do in our other stuff, I'd be looking at food. I'd be looking at a poncho. I'd be looking at water purification and a way to store water. That's about all you're gonna fit if you're carrying a plate carrier and doing that kind of activities. It's a different ball game. So, Darren, I hope I answered your questions about bug out bags. If you guys have any more questions about that kind of thing, let me know. I'm happy to help any way I can. We've got a class that we offer on that, Preparedness 101, where I talk about how bags, a lot of people get focused in on bags. I found out with most preparedness people, that's their entry point. Like it's kind of like when you first buy your first pistol, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where you first get into guns, and you kind of like you bought your first handgun, you bought your first shotgun or something like that, and you're kind of just easing into the preparedness lifestyle. So a bug out bag or a get home bag or something of that nature is everybody's kind of first entry point. After that, they start to expand their knowledge and they start to get out. They start to realize, okay, knowledge is power. So the more I know, the less I need to carry and the less stuff I need. One thing I would say, I didn't put this in my get home bag, but it's very, very important. All of you should be carrying a flashlight. All of you should be carrying, I'm assuming you carry first line gear already, and maybe I shouldn't do that. What is first line gear? I already have a med kit and trauma kit on me. I already have backup magazines. I already have a flashlight. I already have multiple ways to cut and make fire. I already have tools on me that I do every single day. So those things are already on my person. You don't need them in the bag. Without that first line gear, I'm in trouble though, right? So maybe in the bag, an extra set of batteries for my flashlight.
I have batteries in my bag.
Maybe that little red cover for a flashlight, so you can do a red light. If you carry a tactician, it wouldn't hurt to. You can use any kind of red plastic to make the red light.
I put a Prezi in mine too.
A Petzl, you mean?
Petzl.
Yeah, Petzl headlamps are awesome. Again, though, I carry that on my person already.
Right.
It's in my med kit.
So
I don't know that I need more than 2 or 3 lights. I might need extra batteries for all of those things, though.
Max had a good question. What kind of food are you packing in it?
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit, but we didn't say come out exactly.
Okay, so what kind of food am I looking at? I have basically 3 types of food in my bag. I have some sort of super fast, quick energy sugar that I don't have to prepare at all. What am I talking about? Man, Skittles are the ultimate preparedness, hiking food. It's sugar, it's sweet, it satisfies.
Kind of fruity.
And they never go bad, they don't melt. Skittles are awesome for that little burst of energy while you're hiking, just something to snack on. So I love Skittles in my backpack. I like Skittles in my bug out bag. I like Skittles in my plate carrier. That's just one of those things that they don't go bad. A lot of people like M&Ms, but I find that M&Ms melt, they get crushed, they're not as good.
I'm not good on the M&Ms.
So something of that nature that's just sugar. It's just something you can throw in and get you a little bump of energy while you're going. Because we're not dieting if we're freaking hiking 15 miles to get home in a hurry. I'm trying to keep the body fuel, keep me happy so I can keep going. That's the first type. The second type I have is I keep it light with using a mixture of dehydrated food and things that don't need water and boiling, right? Mm-hmm. So the non-boiling, non-cooking stuff is going to be heavy. That's going to be your tuna fish. That's going to be your Spam can. It's going to be something. I should put that as a protein typically for me. I want something that's heavy in protein that's going to keep me satiated and full and ready to go.
Satiated.
But those things are heavy, right? You're going to pay a price for those. So I kind of half those up with the dehydrated backpack foods and stuff like that you can boil and do something.
MREs and things of that nature.
I do keep a boil kit and all that stuff in mind, but again, I'm carrying and thinking a lot longer term than most people are because it's going to be a 20-day trip
Now,
for me.
I also keep like peanuts.
Oh yeah,
Stuff
peanuts
like
great.
that,
That would fall into the protein
Gives me some
non.
protein that I can,
Protein
just
bars are
rely-
good too.
Yep, some Cliff Bars.
You know,
and-
Cliff Bars are good. Something that you don't have to cook and prepare.
Right.
I would be heavier on that if I'm in a short trip.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I was doing a 2-day trip to get home, 10, 15 miles,
Yep.
I would have 0 things I have to cook in it. Nothing. Like it would just be Cliff Bars, protein bars, candy, snacks that you get at the convenience store that last for 15 years. You know what I mean? Like they never go bad. That's
Yeah.
what will be in there.
Well,
Mikey put on there beef jerky.
Oh man, Kalakis,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. I
Definitely
love
some
some beef
Slim
jerky. That,
Jims, beef
again,
jerky.
falls into that protein, non-dehydrate, or
Long lasting.
kind of heavier,
Yeah.
long lasting. The things that I kind of add to mine that a lot of people don't would be like the noodles that you can get, oodles and noodles and stuff like that are dehydrated, they're light, they're
Do
cheap.
like 20,000 grams of salt.
Yeah, there's tons of salt. Well, you need salt, but
Yeah.
you're,
You need it,
you're,
yeah.
you're hiking,
Yeah.
you're dehydrated,
You know.
you need that stuff, you need you need your electrolytes and stuff replenished, so it's not a bad thing when you're on that. But it's also light, right? Like I can carry a whole package of your prepackaged, stuff you get at Walmart cheap, man. They're not expensive. And that's the other thing I tell people. A lot of time backpack meals look cool, but they're no better than the dehydrated like pasta meals that you get out of the grocery section. It's not anything that much different.
Exactly.
So like anything that has like a Asian or Mexican,
If you guys are enjoying the conversation, then make sure you hit that like button
and share it out.
and share it, please and thank you.
Mike says plenty of salt. Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of salt. Max put any protein bar that has chocolate in it. The Cliff Bars, Max,
Hey, Matt, will you bring
are
me
kind
another
of,
one, please?
Oats and peanut butter is the ones that I get.
I'm usually more of a peanut butter guy.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm like
another
that.
thing.
I'm not a big chocolate guy on stuff like
I
that.
love peanut butter.
Yeah.
So like, that's one of those things that you can do the little peanut butter packets. I keep those in my truck as like a snack.
Yeah.
They make the squeezable ones
The
now.
squeezable
It's gotta be
ones.
Skippy. All y'all Jif fuckers are wrong. It's gotta be Skippy peanut butter. I don't know why people are crazy. Like Jif is not good. Peter Pan's not good. It's Skippy, man. Skippy.
Anything, I always keep like the toasted cheese crackers, like a bunch of those around.
They just get broke up.
Yeah,
in
they
the
get
bag,
broke up, but push come to shove, you just open it up and dump it in.
Sure.
You know.
To me, though, it needs to be something long lasting.
But
and
those
the
are
other thing,
something that I don't. They're not in my pack. Like
They're
if you
kinda
went
in the
out there
truck.
and opened it, they're just in my truck. So if I was leaving, I'd grab them and actually shove them in my pocket.
Right. And that's where we kind of start to blur the lines, right?
Exactly.
Because now we're talking about how
Blurred lines.
Matt always gaze it up. Now we're talking about how the vehicle integrates with the bag. Because I'm the same way. I mean,
Thank you, sir.
I could literally live out of my truck. I mean,
Yeah.
I got meds, I got food, I got all kinds of shit in my
Yeah.
truck.
Place to lay down.
Place to lay down. Like all of those things are in my vehicle, but now we're talking your bug out vehicle. And now we're talking about things that you've done in your vehicle that supplement your bag. Because I would do the same thing. If I was getting ready to leave my vehicle at work, I would go through it and be like, okay, I might need this, I might need that, I might need this, stuff in my pockets, and I'd go. I mean, how much would you give for a bottle of ibuprofen in your truck whenever you're hurting, right?
Exactly.
So those things would come with me for sure. But I wouldn't put that in my actual go bag because again, I would supplement it from wherever I'm at, or I would keep it, I already carry a lot of that stuff on me. So I don't need to add extra weight to my go bag. I'd like to keep my go bag as light as possible. So one of the things that you'll take from the backpacking community, Darren, if you're still watching, is that ounces equal pounds and pounds equal pain. So every ounce, and I know that sounds obsessive, but every ounce that you can cut off of that will improve your comfort your speed, your efficiency over a long trip, right? That is the good thing about carrying all that food is that as I eat, my weight goes down. I start speeding up my distances to get home, right?
But that's also a good point to the belt on the pack.
Yeah.
Because that distributes that load.
Sure.
And makes it a lot easier to go, like as far as not just pulling down on you constant. Especially like you were talking
And getting
a
it
huge
set up,
long distance.
Also getting it set up for you. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people, like they won't wear their bag ever. They just get it, they do it, and throw it in the car, done.
Mm-hmm.
No, you need to put that damn bag on and carry it around and see, like, does this shit work?
Right.
Do I have everything I actually need? And I'm more prone to like carrying gloves and like things that I might need to get me through a trail because I have in my head that you might not be walking paved roads to get there. You're gonna be cutting through some shit. You need to, and like a single tarp or mine again. I have a little bit different setup in my personal bag because I'm going longer distances. So I carry a tarp. I carry a hammock because I may need to sit up and get some sleep.
And I do have it's a single one-man tent. It's real small,
Yep.
compact. So it fits in a pouch just like this.
Right.
And
I used to carry a two-man
So,
tent
yeah.
in mine, but again, you have to start weighing weight versus.
yeah.
So that's why I went to the hammock because it's a lot lighter, a lot smaller, a lot less taken up in the bag. I don't do a full-blown sleeping bag because we don't get that cold in the
Right.
winters here. And I feel like with an appropriate shelter, and if you're already wearing the appropriate clothing, you don't really need that. I do carry the emergency bivy from Stay Outdoors Longer, SOL, I think is the name of it. I have one of the really nice bivvies. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little disappointed in it. It does okay, it does the job, but if you're a large human, it doesn't quite fit.
Yeah.
I actually think their cheaper
But
models tend to fit a little bit better for a larger person.
There's also things with that you touched on a minute ago about that whole knowledge is power.
It is.
Knowing how to use
What you have.
To maximize it, because you can build a fire with the right backdrop and keep a lot of that heat on you, versus you just got a fire and you're having to get up close to it and then you have to turn around because your backside got cold.
Well, again, like a lot of people don't know the basic knowledge of build a rock reflector.
Exactly, that's what I was talking
about.
about.
Build up your ground so that you have your sleeping area off the ground. Either a hammock can do that, or if you like put a bunch of leaves and roughage down underneath your sleeping bag and stuff like that and get some insulation between you and the ground, it now starts to act like an insulator instead of you laying on the earth. It's little things that you got to get out there and do the things to know the things.
And if you've not experienced
if you've never done that, you don't know what you're talking about. It just makes it to that point where a lot of times I carry less than most people because I'm comfortable with what I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep staying at the Marriott.
And Matt is a Marriott Missy. Like he's one of those that he would prefer not to be outside ever.
So that would actually be, we should do
I think we should
video on my first camping experience with Karen.
Do you know what we should
That'd
do?
be a whole
No.
video.
Here's the video we should do because I know you can do outdoors. You've done it, doing your hunting trips and stuff like that. We need to do like a 3-day outdoor adventure with the Patriots. Matt in the boonies.
I'm not going any longer.
I'm
I'm not going any longer than 24 hours. Fuck that. I'm only going to get about 2 hours of sleep.
Can we get you for 24 hours even? Is my question.
Dude, listen, okay, at the bug out camp out, I was testing out the bug out trailer, right?
Yeah.
It's heated. It has a bed in it. I'm going home. He wouldn't stay for even 15 minutes. He's like, fuck now, I'm going home.
I lived 3 miles away and I had to get up the next day and help you move.
I've been on hunting trips in the cold and snow where I've climbed up in the loft on a barn and slept on the hay.
So here's my thing. Learning, it's kind of like weightlifting, right? Yeah. What is it that barbell logic says? Voluntary hardship to something. I can't remember the exact
Mike Kalakis says, can I bring an RV? Amen, brother.
Listen, I have nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with having RVs and travel trailers and getting out and doing that kind of thing. That's recreation. But in a survival scenario, that's different. And again, nobody is usually willing to test that. Nobody's willing, and usually the only people that do are hunters and backpackers.
Yeah.
Like that's the only people that's willing to get out there and be like, we're going hunting.
Jerry.
I don't know when we're getting back.
Jerry Nuss tells a story of his wife like living outside in the wintertime, and I think they
she
live in,
just
like,
takes off
Illinois.
and goes.
Yeah.
She builds like this some sort of shelter, and then she like keeps tweaking on it and trying to get him to come out and check it out. And he's like, "No, I'm good." But then she ends up like staying out there like the whole freaking winter.
But there's
Illinois.
people. So my thing is, there's people that endure voluntary hardship to build mental stability. To build mental toughness. It's one of those things where it's like you put the heavy weights on your back and you do that voluntary hardship now so that you know that if you ever need it, you could.
Right.
It's the same thing with backpackers. It's the same thing with hunters. It's like I want to know that if I needed to get out there and do it, I could.
Now, I would not
And it builds a confidence, doesn't it?
ever admit to being lost, but on one of our bear hunting trips, we were temporarily misplaced for about 8 hours. And
Right.
we kept thinking, well, we cross this next ridge and the trucks will be there. And, 6 ridges later, instead of the truck, we found a little T-post, had a little yellow sign on it, said end of national forest property.
There you go.
Like, yeah.
But that's the point. When you go backpacking or you go hunting, you have that in your mind that, hey, we may not come out of here exactly when we think we need to,
Seriously changed what I carry in my pack because we ran out of food. We ran out of water. We were seriously looking at spending the night.
Max says,
in
hey,
the
Jerry, anything over an hour is lost.
That's 8 times lost right there, man.
We were temporarily misplaced for a long time, brother.
So Darren said, I have always heard you never want to carry more than 15% of your weight. I think the type of bags you are talking about would be a lot less. Yeah, and I'm 100% on board with that, or less. Yeah. So here's the thing. 15% is talking about, like, that's a basic. If you're a young, healthy stud that weightlifts all the time, that's like, you go run and you're in good cardiovascular shape, maybe you push that to 20%, 25%. You can probably get by with it. But it's the exact opposite. If you're maybe 40 plus, you maybe haven't been in the woods in a long time.
I'm almost 40, man.
Maybe you haven't done, that much cardio. Maybe 15% is too much. The only way to ever know for certain, Darren, is to strap that shit on your back and go do a hike in it and see how it feels. See if your body can take it. I will tell you that our plate carriers weigh 15 pounds.
I wish Scott Edwards was on here because if we want to know if we can carry our shit, we need to go do that freaking hike that Jenny even with a Daffodil Flats,
Daffodil
man.
Flats?
Yeah, like that, like trying to get from wherever he started us, and of course we kind of went we didn't go the wrong direction. It just, we ran up on a narrow spot that wasn't going to be safe for us to cross. So ended up doubling back and then going, I think we did 9 or 10 miles a day in some nasty ass shit.
And what were you carrying?
What's that?
What were you carrying?
Basically I had what's the thing? Camel pack. Like, I didn't carry like a big pack.
And you were still whooped.
Yeah.
Just from that.
Well, the problem was we were out there so long that I had to hit him up for iodine for water. You know what I mean? Because I had sucked down everything in the camel pack. So going back to the, not just water, but, having a way to filter it.
What happened to those tabs I gave you?
They were on me.
That should be in your pack.
They were on me.
Then
but he had iodine. And I was like, the other thing was my ankle kit was all sweated through. You know what I mean? So those tabs had gotten kind of funky. Well, he still had iodine. I just poured it in there.
In other words, Scott was looking out for him and carrying him along.
Yeah, man.
Even though I gave him water purification tabs to put in his ankle med kit, you're killing me, Smalls.
Thomas Davis is on with us.
What's up,
hey, Thomas?
Let's go back and answer some of these questions. So there's a couple of questions here and stuff that's kind of come up we need to talk about here. But what I was getting at, Darren, just be aware that, yes, those those packs at 15%, that's kind of a guideline. I think that's a good place to aim, but always cut weight where you can. Don't carry unnecessary weight. So let's go back and see some of these things here. Casey Kemp says, I like Liquid IV for electrolyte replacement. Absolutely, those are awesome. I like. What was the one that the Kishimoto's gave me? They gave me one that was really good, and I can't remember the name. What flavor it was.
If only they were on here.
Sons
of bitches.
So Casey Kemp says, if you ruck often, you can handle more weight. I don't believe in the 15%. Again, Casey, it comes down to what I just said, right? If you're young, healthy, you do this a lot, yeah, 20, 25% probably, you'd be fine. But if you're one of those people that don't do that often, well, what I was about to say before we kind of got off topic, our plate carriers weigh 15 pounds roughly. You wear that for 8 to 10 hours a day teaching a class, I felt it. Like, I could feel it that night. And that's a light pack. I mean, our plate carriers is awesome.
Yeah.
They're as light as they get. But I could still feel that after 8 to 10 hours of doing it because we're not used to doing it. If you ruck and you plan to do those kind of things and you've conditioned your body for it, then yeah, push the limits. You can do 20, 25%.
That's one of the things, though, that I think you touched on at the beginning of the conversation is I think people overestimate
themselves.
Like how far
Absolutely,
they'll be able to go.
they do. Absolutely.
And they have to be saying, okay, my objective is to get from here to here, point A to point B, and I'm going to do it regardless how long it takes me. But I want to be able to do it as efficiently as possible, if that makes sense.
For sure.
Without, succumbing to elements and...
So it's kind of like when, it comes down to this. Everybody thinks they can do better than they think they can until they go do it. And then they realize, holy shit, maybe I can't do as good as this. Because I remember that one time when they were like, we're at 41 minutes.
Nah.
See if we're back up.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, guys. Damn it. We lost half of our people.
Sorry about that, guys. Seems like the internet took a dump on us.
Yeah, Casey, I did recognize Casey Kemp on there. He had said, unfortunately, you were right, and he was talking about with the rucking and stuff, and that Casey is on here. He trains down with Andrew down in Florida.
All right. Hopefully, you guys got us back now.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys being involved and asking questions. Looks like Rev's in here. Rev can chime in too. That his experience, he's got quite a bit on the backpacking and camping and stuff.
And this conversation, and you kind of led us into it there a minute ago. It makes me think of really our whole mindset. That's really what makes this.
Yep.
You have to have the mindset that you're able to do it. I'm the senior person here. 13 knee surgeries, including the replacement. But if I make my mind up to do something, I go do it. Now, it may take me longer, and I may have to adapt it in ways, but I figure it out. You said something about the lifting up there the other night, the last time we were here together. Yep. And that's what it boils down to. You have to have that mindset that, I'm going to survive, I'm going to do this, and you do the things that help you prepare to do it.
Yep. But you hit it right there. It's like you got to do the things.
Exactly.
To say you're going to do the things is one thing. To do the things is another.
Like
it's easy to have all the things. Now, I will say, Matt has put some serious time in rucking, so I know he's got the ability to do this. And Matt is the most deceptive person in this room. He's probably the second fastest and probably second strongest, maybe third strongest person in the whole group.
Yeah.
And that's out of a lot of people.
And you remember, it's been a year or so ago you did that where you ran.
Yeah.
You did all that running and stuff,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a history of running like long distance, so like I know about being like in sort of a suck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And that's the thing is like there's certain things I'm probably the least good at long distance suck. I'm really good at explosive. I'd be really fast for a couple of hours, and then I'd be starting to hit the deck, right?
Now, I tend to hit steady.
Yeah.
I want to hit and keep that pace regardless if it's 30 minutes, 2 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever. I want to go at that same pace.
Rev said something about his honeymoon backpacking trip. He was telling a story to Scott. You should tell us the story of you and Karen going camping.
Oh yeah. So when Karen and I got engaged, and I used to bear hunt a lot. So we decided we would go tent camping, and took her down to in Fontana where we bear hunt, and we were staying at a little campsite down in Cable Cove, and we hiked Joyce Kilmer and did all kinds of cool shit. But the second morning we were there, we woke up and less than 100 yards from our tent was a fresh pile of bear scat.
Nice.
And after that, she pretty much told me that the Hilton's the next camping she would do.
So
it's not getting any
I will
different.
be open and honest. My wife is not a camper.
Yeah.
She'd rather. She's all about camping when it's in an RV.
Yeah,
She has
we
zero
were
interest in
true tent
camping on the ground.
camping, but I will say we had bear hunted enough that we had a pretty nice setup. Like I had all the gear, a good sized tent, lanterns, tree steps to hang lanterns from the tree around, cookware.
I call that
everything.
car
We
camping.
were glamping.
But you're car camping.
yeah.
So that's
So it wasn't
overlanding.
true
That's overlanding before overlanding was a thing, and that's basically like my wife is cool with that, but she don't want to leave shit at home. Like
Yeah,
she wants to
exactly.
have food. She wants to have all the things, and we
But
ain't
yeah,
going out in
the-
the woods and staying ain't nothing around.
the
Like, I want to
fresh-
be close to the car.
The fresh scat, and it was actually about 40 yards from the tent.
We got some people talking about their unmentionable regions here. So Andrew says baby wipes will go a long way in a bag. Same with extra underwear. Stinging thighs and privates are not fun.
Dude, baby wipes are always in my
And
bags.
they
That's a
sell those
must-have.
thinner packs of them.
The wet wipes.
The wet wipes that are easy to throw in a backpack and they weigh
Max
like next to
says-
nothing.
They're the ones that I typically throw in.
Yep.
They're absolutely necessary.
I actually have some
There
of those
must
in
be
mine.
a brand called Dude Wipes. Max reaches.
Yes, there
He
is.
said they're the shit twice the size of normal baby wipe.
That's what's up.
That's Sasquatch size.
That sounds like big
Um,
ass size.
And a lot of people underestimate cleanliness, right?
Yeah.
Like there's something too about having a clean butt and clean arms and like not stinking. Like it's nice
Yeah.
to be able to feel a little fresh even when you can't have a shower and a bath. Backpackers, again, if you want to know more about this, look to the backpacking community.
Yeah.
They've done this already.
And that's part of how we evolved with the whole bear hunting thing. We found out that where we go is close to the Appalachian Trail, and that they actually had shower facilities there.
There you go.
Well, yeah, we were camping down next to a creek, and when you're talking about the first weekend in November, you might end up with frost on the ground in the morning. You're waking up and trying to rinse off in that creek, and it's like 3 seconds.
I've done that.
Yeah.
It's cold.
But when you can go at the end of the day and take a shower and get clean,
It helps.
and
It
use
helps.
the actual toilet,
It helps.
it helps.
Again, though, plan for the fact that you might not be able to.
Yeah. Plan for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how we do it.
Or plan for the worst, prepare for the
Expect
worst.
the worst.
Maybe. Yeah,
But
there you
nah,
go.
whatever. We fucked it all
We
up.
fucked that one up.
It's plan for the best, prepare for
Somebody said it straight, damn it. Leave us some hate.
I'm always, like, they were just talking about that in the comments. I always err on the side of nothing's going to go right. So prepare for that, and
Yeah.
then it'll be smooth sailing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why I carry tools. That's why I carry jump boxes. Like, and then when it goes on, I was like, oh, that's no big deal. I
But
just got
again,
this.
there we go with the whole mindset thing.
It is.
You
It should
know-
follow over and everything. And that's why I say that in the Preparedness 101 class, it kind of, it starts out as a bag class because it's where everybody enters.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start telling them about, hey, you're in this little section right here, preparedness, when most people look at this as a whole big thing, and here are the different sections of all this preparedness that you need to look at. and we expand upon that and show people how, like, basically preparedness doesn't end until you're homesteading.
Right.
I mean, like, if you want to be the ultimate prepper, homestead.
Off the grid homesteading.
But the grand scheme of things is we're all somewhere in that scale, right? We're all somewhere in there of how self-sufficient we are. But most people are grossly unself-sufficient and they don't even realize it. You are highly reliant on the system. You're highly reliant on food coming in on
what
trucks.
What is that whole thing with the trucks? 3 days?
3 days.
3 days.
They have right on time delivery, which means they have just enough stuff in stock. There is nothing in the back.
Right.
Everybody assumes like there's this back area where they keep stuff in stock. No, what you see is what you got. And they just deliver as that's running out. So 3 days, and what was it? There was a saying a while back. It's like 5 meals until utter chaos and anarchy. That's true. I mean, like, it would not take long for the truck drivers to shut stuff down and us be in big trouble.
Yep. And
now we're not as bad out here because we live in the country,
Right.
and like farmers literally are like there,
You know.
over there. But still, it's seasonal, right? So unless you're willing to can and grow and have a
And
good
if you
food
don't know
storage,
them, they're likely to say, fuck off.
pretty
And
much. If
that's
you don't have a
a-
relationship with them, you're in
that's
trouble.
a lost art, I think, that some are bringing back, the whole canning. Now, you know, I grew up, you know, up in the mountains, and my grandparents did it. They were farmers, and you know,
They were just self-sufficient.
They were self-sufficient.
Period. Like that's the way they tried to do things.
Every year we did certain things, like at Thanksgiving, they butchered a hog. That was our sausage and meat through the winter. You know, they did green beans and corn and stuff, those type things. But I don't know. We've kind of gotten away from that.
Everybody
And
has. Everybody's
has.
dependent on the system. And that's why I say bug out bags and preparedness bags, that's like your entryway. It's your gateway drug into preparedness.
Right.
And then you start realizing like, holy shit, I'm well unprepared for like all what's really could happen.
And then when you realize that, you know, one person or one family can't do it alone.
No,
you
you need
got to
to-
have a community.
If you'd like to reach out and be a part of a community, Prepare Patriot North Carolina. We have a pretty awesome group of people here. If you're anywhere close to this area, we'd love to have you out. Training is kind of the entry, to be honest. You come out, you train with us, we get to know you. You kind of build part of this group, and you become part of the group. You become family, and we start to take care of each other. And we have built a pretty cool community here of like-minded individuals that like to help each other. So that being said, we're getting close, guys. It's been almost 30 minutes. If y'all have any more questions or
52
anything.
minutes, bro.
Yep, almost. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, wow, okay.
52 minutes.
So if y'all have any more questions, let us know. We're going to shut this down in about 8 more minutes.
Max made a good comment about not just having a bag packed, but make sure you check your shit.
Yeah.
Make sure you're...
Well, that's what I was about to say a minute ago. I go through yearly and check my food in my bag, and you'll be surprised how quick that stuff goes out of date. So just rotate it, right? Like if you bought, there again, if you're not doing backpack meals and like high-end $10 per meal stuff, it's not that hard to throw in some noodles into a recipe, a bowl of soup or something that, you know, the stuff that you buy from like the dry goods.
Yeah.
Go get the oodles and noodles and some of those things that are real easy to store that don't weigh anything. And then you can just work those into a recipe after they've getting close to expiring. The other thing a lot of people miss out on is like little things like condiments. Like have some jelly, have some salt, have some pepper, have some like hot sauce. Like those things go a long way when you're eating bland rice or something that you don't really like the taste of. Have those things in your bag. I mean, even like a little pack of honey. Can you imagine how much you would love a little pack of honey when you're eating dry oatmeal in the morning? Goes a long way. I don't know about y'all.
Molasses.
I'm a big
Is a
dude.
big-
I like to eat. If I'm walking 100 miles home, my priority is food. I don't want to have to hunt shit. I want to be walking and eating as fast as I can get there to A to B. And that's what I have as a priority in my bag, food and water. Everything else is supplemental. And the more you know, the less you need. And the more you carry every day in your first line gear, your EDC gear, the less you need. I don't need a bunch of extra flashlights and shit in my bag. Right. I have high quality, good shit on my person. I have 2 flashlights on me all day, every day. Why do I need to carry 3 or 4 more? I do because I'm a freaking crazy prepper, but I don't need them. You know, if I couldn't
but you
afford
have the
the
batteries
weight,
is the thing.
yeah, have the extra batteries, have the things that you need, but really it comes down to like save weight where you can. If I wasn't going to such long extremes for my get home bag, it would weigh like literally my wife's bag because she never goes that far is a small book bag with just things that we need to get kids home. You know, we're talking 15 miles. They can do that in a day, day and a half, tops. They need just some snacks and some food and, like, get home. Like, they're going to walk it and get there and not stop until they're there. The plan is different depending on where you're at. So, hope that answered y'all's questions. Anything else we got on here? Let's look at the comments real quick. Looks like we've answered most of them.
Yeah.
Guys, we have a big announcement. We haven't told much people this, but I think we're going to drop down to 1 time a month. We've had good attendance tonight, and we appreciate y'all being on here tonight. And I know a lot of people are watching it, and we appreciate that. But I think we're going to start trying to back this down. We're designating a lot of time and getting a lot of fruitless results from it. We appreciate hanging out with you guys, and we love y'all supporting the channel. Thank y'all so much. Don't take this as a slight to y'all. It has nothing to do with that. It's just we're not seeing the return and the amount of people from our group on here like we'd like to. So we're going to cut that down. We're going to start doing this maybe once a month.
Probably the first Thursday of the month.
And if we can't make it the first Thursday, we'll maybe supplement as like the second or third.
Yeah.
The next, if it's like a holiday or something like that, we might move it out to the next
Keep
Thursday.
it posted on the socials.
If you're not following us, go ahead and go over and hit the YouTube, hit the notification bell, hit the YouTube subscribe button, and you'll be able to kind of follow along and see what's going on and what we're doing. We're going to keep posting videos. That's going to be a constant thing. We have quite a few of them coming. And we'd like to focus more on some of the videos and that kind of thing. We just feel like that the live stream is not getting the attention and the things that we'd really like to kind of get going. So we're gonna back it down for a little while, and hopefully we can get more attendance on the 1 time a month and answer questions. It gives us a little bit more time with our families, a little bit more time to come up with things that we want to talk about. We might do like a once a month live stream and have like a topic of conversation like we did tonight. Was all about get home bags, preparedness bags.
That would be good for those guys that are on, because I'm looking at 12. It's showing 12 of us are on, but anybody that's on, if you have a topic you would like us to, spend one whole live session on, kind of like we did tonight, shoot that in the comments so we can go back and look at it, and that'll
Drop it in the comment on any one of our social media posts. I'll scribble it down. Send us an email.
Anything y'all would like to talk about. It's one of those things that it's becoming redundant, and we don't ever want to be redundant in our stuff. We like these to have meaning every time we bring them on. And we're seeing the same faces, and we love you guys. We appreciate y'all supporting us. It's just one of those things we'd like to get more people involved, and the more that we grow and the more the channel grows, I think it will be better. We'll have more people kind of getting on live because it'll get more advertisement and those kind of things. We're close to 1,000, guys. When we hit that 1,000 mark, I think things will be a little bit easier. But that being said, if y'all don't see us for a little bit, you'll understand why we're kind of starting to.
We're talking
roll
March 3rd, the next one, right before your birthday. What?
That might be okay. I think that'll be all right.
Oh, because it's so close to your birthday.
It's close to my birthday. I might be out of town or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, man.
That's during the week.
You might be getting lucky in Kentucky.
Might be getting lucky in Kentucky. I don't know. We'll see, though. The next time will be March
3rd.
March 3rd.
Yeah.
All right. We'll commit. Hopefully I don't end up hating myself for that. But that being said, guys, again, if there's anything you want to see, drop us a message. Email us at preparedpatriotnc@gmail.com.
Gmail.com. Casey already came up with a comment, so we talk about how awesome 1911s or 40 caliber is.
Boom.
Next time. I think Yeager's
1911 and 40 caliber.
Go watch James Yeager's videos on that. That tells you all you need to know on that. I'm sure you know that already, Casey.
Yeah.
But that being said, guys, we do appreciate you so much. We thank y'all for following us. Hopefully, this is not the end of live streams. It's just maybe backing off a little bit. Maybe the quality will be a little better.
Yeah.
We'll have a little bit more content to bring. We just feel like the weekly ones are getting a little bit redundant. So, we love you guys. We appreciate it. We thank you very much. If there's anything we can do for any of y'all, reach out to us. We appreciate you following. Appreciate you being a part of this. And if there's, again, anything you want us to do or talk about, let us know.
Yeah.
Until next time, guys, we ask you.
Carry smart, carry safe, be prepared. Come to class, March 12th, 13th. Prepared Rifleman.
What other classes?
You got Prepared Pistol 2 coming up April 8th and 9th or something like that.
Comp carry and pistol 1.
Yeah, we got classes next weekend. Pistol 1's next weekend, comp carry. And then medical stuff will be in June. We're still looking at May for Force on Force. We just need to get our shit together. So,
And good night.
see you guys.